All around the world, countless experiments are conducted. Some of them are known to people, while others are carried out in complete secrecy. It is said that one such experiment was conducted in the 1940s, and learning about it sends shivers down people's spines. This experiment is known as the Russian sleep experiment. In the year 1940, Russia, along with its military, conducted an experiment on 5 prisoners. These prisoners were required to stay inside a room for 30 days without sleeping. In return, they were promised freedom. However, this experiment turned out to be so dangerous that no one had ever imagined its outcome. Let us learn about this Russian sleep experiment in detail. Every day, new inventions are made in the world. All these inventions are created for the convenience of humans, but for experiments, animals are often chosen first. For example, when the COVID vaccine was developed, it was first tested on mice and monkeys. Once the experiment proved successful, it was then used on humans. Many other experiments have also been conducted, such as sending dogs and monkeys into space. In such experiments, there is always a risk to life. But just imagine what happens when humans themselves are chosen for such experiments. Today, we are going to tell you about one such experiment, after which Russia faced heavy criticism. The story dates back to the year 1940, when the Second World War was going on. Tensions were high across the world. Many countries were fighting their enemies on the battlefield. Russia was one such country. It had defeated soldiers from enemy nations and kept them as prisoners. During this time, some Russian scientists, along with the military, were researching something unusual. They wanted to know whether a human could survive without sleep. They justified this experiment by saying that since World War II was ongoing and soldiers were fighting on the battlefield, could soldiers fight without sleeping? With this objective, Russian scientists began their research. When it was time to conduct the experiment, the scientists decided to perform it on prisoners. They presented the proposal to the prisoners and told them that if they managed to survive for 30 days without sleeping, they would be released from prison. 5 prisoners agreed to these terms. Thus, the Russian sleep experiment began. A special chamber was prepared for the experiment, where the prisoners were to be kept. The chamber had all necessary facilities, and cameras were installed everywhere to monitor their activities. The chamber was made of glass. From outside, the inside could be seen, but from inside, the outside view was not visible. The prisoners were then placed inside the room, and it was locked. To prevent them from sleeping, a special type of gas was released along with oxygen, which made it impossible for them to fall asleep even if they wanted to. Microphones were also installed inside the room so that scientists could hear every conversation. The first day passed normally. The prisoners ate, drank, and spent time talking to each other. The second day also went fine. On the third day, the prisoners appeared slightly tired, but somehow the day passed. On the fourth day, sleep was clearly visible in their eyes, but due to the gas, they were unable to sleep. On the fifth day, the scientists noticed something strange. The prisoners were talking, but all of them were speaking at the same time. Everyone was only trying to say their own words and was not listening to anyone else. By the 6th, 7th, and 8th days, their condition worsened further. They tried to sleep, but because of the gas, they could not. On the 9th day, something terrifying happened. One of the 5 prisoners suddenly began screaming loudly. The scientists outside could see everything but did nothing. His scream was so loud that it felt like it could burst anyone's eardrums. Surprisingly, the other prisoners showed no reaction at all. They remained silent. After 3 hours, the prisoner's voice stopped. He was still trying to scream, but no sound came out. After the 10th day, things began to change. Days passed, and by the 13th day, the scientists began to feel that the prisoners might be dead because there was no movement. Oxygen levels were checked and found to be normal, and all prisoners were still breathing. Even then, the scientists grew suspicious and thought the experiment should be stopped. However, the commander supervising the experiment refused and ordered it to continue. 2 more days passed. On the 15th day, the scientists decided to go inside and check. They instructed the prisoners that when they entered, the prisoners must stay away from the door. If they did not comply, they would be shot. If they stayed away, they would be released. As soon as the door was opened and the prisoners were told they were being freed, their response shocked the scientists. The prisoners clearly refused to come out. They said they wanted to stay inside. At that moment, the scientists noticed blood on the floor and splattered on the walls. Flesh was missing from some of the prisoners' bodies, and bones were visible. It appeared as if the prisoners had eaten their own flesh. Terrified, the scientists came out and stopped the gas that prevented sleep. As soon as the gas was stopped, one prisoner died. His body was removed. The scientists decided to finally stop the experiment to prevent further harm to the remaining 4 prisoners. But once again, the commander refused. He even insisted that one scientist should stay inside the chamber with the prisoners to make the experiment more effective. The scientists refused, and one of them shot the commander dead. The scientists then re-entered the chamber. The scene inside terrified them. The prisoners were behaving in a very strange manner. All 4 were taken out and sent for medical treatment. During treatment, 3 of the prisoners died. Only 1 prisoner survived. After treatment, on the 16th day, he was put back into the chamber because he insisted on going inside. One scientist entered the chamber again and asked the prisoner how he was feeling. The prisoner began speaking in a bizarre manner. It felt as though he was no longer human. Hearing this, the scientist panicked and felt it was better to kill him. The scientist then shot the prisoner dead. Thus, the experiment came to an end. When this story came to light, Russia clearly denied that any such experiment had ever been conducted in the country. However, many claims and theories emerged regarding this experiment. Some people believe it was real, while others say it was a fictional story. Even today, debates about this experiment continue.